Scene, Lou. Frankly, I have to tell you this. I was honored when you invited me, and I'm delighted always to say a word or two on this, but I think I'm fighting a cold.
I know. A lot of people are getting
sick. Oh, Lord,
sick.
yeah. Well,
my
companion here just got over one, and I've been trying to swallow vitamins like crazy, but I feel it, I feel one coming on, and my throat is getting a little hoarse. So thank you for the invite.
Not a problem.
But do this for me. Give Roger my regards, will you?
Sure, no problem.
I saw him here just about a week or so ago.
Oh, yeah?
We were at a conference up in Laughlin, Nevada. A big UFO conference up there.
How was that?
Well, it was fun. It had a lot of interesting stuff. There were well over 1,000 people there. And, those happen every year, and what's interesting to me is basically it's the same crowd that keeps coming back. The same group of people who do not need being preached to. And when you get up and talk to them, it's like singing to the choir or preaching to the choir.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good workout. There were a lot of interesting people. There were people from all over Europe there. There was a Russian there from Moscow. There was a German there, a researcher. There was a fine researcher, investigator from Mexico who was there. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't go as a speaker this time. I was there 2 years ago as a speaker, but I just went this time just to see old friends. Roger was on there. He showed some incredible film of some of the stuff he's pulled out of people's toes and feet and legs. And there are no answers. Well, the conclusions are pretty clear, I think, but none of the skeptics want to attack Roger, to my knowledge, because he's a reputable man with a good reputation.
Mm-hmm.
So he pulls these little things out of people, and what's so interesting is that some of the stuff is removed from areas where there is no scar that it was ever implanted there. Now, how the hell they got it in there, that's another question. But these objects are in there. Well, Roger will fill that in, but just say hello for me.
Yeah, not a problem. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. You're on the Lou Gentile Show. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, it's Ken again.
Yes, Ken. How are you doing?
How are you doing tonight?
Good.
Right, I just wanted to throw it. That was very interesting with the moon landing there and having aliens waiting there. I'd like to hear more about that. But you know what I feel is lately, like he says, that all this information is dribbling out. Isn't that funny? We can almost taste this information, this truth, great truth finally coming out at the same time when these laws seem to be getting more, I don't know, cracking down on freedoms and information, and seems to be getting more controlled at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Well, there's an old saying, going back a long time, that the truth will eventually will out, and you can't lie to all of the people all of the time. You've heard that. Was it Lincoln right. Said that? You can lie to all of the people some of the time, and some of the people all of the time, but you can't lie to all of them all of the time.
I hope that's true.
It will come out, but I'm not so sure that it's a result of government effort. I think it's the result of individual researchers, people who get curious, people who want to know, and people who read the books.
Well, that's right. I think there's got some kind of critical mass, and you get enough good people.
I think that's a good term. I think a critical mass is a good term. It reaches a point after a time where you just simply cannot keep lying to people. Mm-hmm. And they've tried it for so damn long, and they've gotten away with it for so damn long. But you can't do it forever.
Well, with brave people like you and Stephen Greer out there in the forefront, I'm sure we will succeed.
Well, I don't think of myself as a hero. I think of myself as an ornery old cuss who just got so damn fed up of being lied to.
Well, that's the way I feel about it.
And there's a hell of a lot more out there like me,
That's
Joe
right.
Corso, before he died, was an old retired Army colonel, and he'd been on the inside for a long time. And he learned things and had seen things, and he wrote a book called The Day After Roswell, which is a pretty dynamite piece of work. If you ever could find it, it's worth reading.
I'm going to look for it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right, have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
1-800-594-9270. That's 1-800-594-9270. We got a couple minutes left. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to be speaking with Dr. Roger K. Lear, and he has a special announcement he's going to be enlightening us with. And now, as far as well, let me ask you this. Out of all your research that you've done, have you come across anything on time travel?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But it would take another hour to get into that, Lou. I know this, that our own government has been experimenting with it, and that in certain laboratories they have proven the reality of it to a very, very limited degree. What I mean is that they have had experiments where they have, more than a question, they have proved that time is, well, malleable. It's manipulative. You can manipulate time. And that's going to be a future. I don't know how we're going to deal with that. How will the mass of people deal with a technology or a science that can literally manipulate time? We know this, that the guys from up there, whoever the hell they are, and I have a pretty good idea who they are. They can do it. They can manipulate, and they prove it many times. Matter of fact, they have, they have brought people back after having abducting them. They brought them back after keeping them for several hours. 2 minutes or 3 minutes after they took them out. So they manipulate time. There's no question about it. They pulled one poor guy. There was a Brazilian guard at a military installation that was abducted one time, and they took him. He disappeared, and he was gone. He showed up 15 minutes later with a week's growth of beard. And he told a story of where he'd been and what had happened to him. And his beard was a week's growth. And yet the guys who saw him being grabbed said that the time that passed was only 10 or 15 minutes. So they can manipulate time. Apparently we will learn someday to do it as well.
What I thought was interesting is I knew a gentleman a long time ago that we got to talking, and he said that he worked at some paper shredding place or something like that out in the middle of nowhere when he was in the military, and he would shred papers and photographs and whatnot. And he says he came across these photographs one time. It's kind of odd that there were like people embedded in the metal and things like that. And as we were talking, we started to talk about the Philadelphia experiment, and I explained to him about this process of what was done at that point. And he said, "Oh man," he said, and he started telling me about these photographs and whatnot, and I didn't know really what to make out of it. But that certainly, as far as the Philadelphia experiment, not as sensationalized as the book or the movie is, but yeah. I would take it that there's some validity in them trying to degauss a ship.
Well, it was apparently an experiment that went sour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the report I had heard was the science was great, but the biological aspects of it were completely wrong. So that they ended up losing a bunch of guys. But the science worked pretty well. So God knows what they've done now. I'm sure that the science has progressed considerably.
Right.
That's another field now, Lou, that you're going to have, well, I'm sure you're aware of. What we know about where we're at in terms of science is about 25 to 30 years behind where they're really at. We've got guys doing things over at these laboratories like Los Alamos and over at Site 51 at Groom that are 20, 30 years ahead of what we imagine they are. So you asked earlier about, are some of the UFOs in the sky ours?